Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop again this week. And what did I get this week? 4 comics and a couple of freebies. Oh, well, technically this one wasn't a freebie. I picked it up because it was $1. It's another one of these True Believers editions, and I'm not even sure. Well, I think I'm going to turn it into another one of my sketch covers. That's pretty much the only reason I got it, was because it was $1. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of any Thanos stories after the Marvel 2-in-1 Annual of 1977. After that, I'm out of the whole Thanos and Warlock thing. I love the 70s Jim Starlin Thanos and Warlock. Don't like much after that, but like for $1, I picked it up just. Ooh. Oh no, Wolverine's fighting Evil Face Wolverine. Picked it up for $1. Gonna wrap some Bristol around it, make a sketch cover of it. That sort of thing. And then I don't know what this is. Marvel Rising #0. Looks like a whole bunch of comics I'm not going to read. Because I don't read any Marvel comics. Okay, she's got a name tag on, so maybe I would know who she is. That's Squirrel Girl. Never read any Squirrel Girl. That's some guy in a mustard suit. Don't know who that is. Another guy in a different mustard suit. Mustard must be the color of the season here at Marvel. And some random Superhero Adventures comic. No idea what this is. I'll look through it and then throw it in the recycling. And here we go with Savage Dragon 233 and a racy Savage Dragon cover. Bald is beautiful. What do we got on the back? Switchblade. Erik Larsen's been getting into more adult themes in his comics lately. Let's see if we can find some non-adult theme pages. Oh, those are Savage Dragon. Those are the 3rd generation. Savage Dragon's grandkids. Malcolm Dragon. And then we've got our story of the female characters in the book are missing in the negative zone. Or the Savage Dragon equivalent to the negative zone. I forget what it's called. Watching Oh, that's right. The also in this Savage Dragon's wife there is making a reality TV show about her life being the Savage Dragon's wife, and that's causing them all sorts of fun and consternation. So another issue of Savage Dragon. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. And Saga continues with issue 51, continuing its saga by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. These are the characters who were introduced, I don't know, in the past year maybe. They're investigative journalists who are getting on the story of our 2 main characters who have forbidden love, yada yada yada. Of course, there's been racy things in Saga too, all along, as well as the Savage Dragon. I remember your daddy is a bad man. Not quite as racy as the splash page from last issue. There's Prince Robot talking to his son. They have old-time CRT monitors for faces. See what's happening with Gus there, our herder, and there's the daughter of our 2 main characters, and she, I guess, would be the subject of our reporter's story, as well as the... Oh, Crazy Manta Ray. There's lots of creative animals in Saga. But, you know, it's been around for years. When did this start? I don't remember. 2012? Who knows when it started. But it's been around for 51 issues, and if you haven't tried it out by now, why not? And next we have Kill or Be Killed, number 18. I think this ends with the next issue. I don't remember, but I think someone said it was 19. The ending is coming as a bit of a surprise. What is that? I thought they only did that in the 70s when they had the dreaded Deadline Doom coming up. You use the splash page as the cover. All sorts of crazy things going on in this one. This is another guy who we think is a copycat to our lead character, Kill or Be Killed, Vigilante. Our lead character has been locked up in a mental institution. Oh, look, the army's around too. Has been locked up in a mental institution. But meanwhile, someone's taken his place, being a vigilante revealed. high school hero turns killer. Killer's alt-right fantasy. So that isn't our lead character. That's someone else. Anything on the back of this one? Nope. And there's usually in the back of this too. I enjoy the articles that are in the back of this. Let's see. By Kim Morgan, illustrated by Jacob Phillips. That's Sean Phillips' son doing the illustrations. And it's usually on some pulp movie that's 40 years old. But I've been liking these articles in the back. It gives me I like anything extra you're going to give me in the comic that's more than the comic. These are usually written by someone who's an expert in whatever field they're writing about, whether it's pulp novels, pulp movies, pulp TV shows. So I find that to be fun stuff. Nice illustration by Jacob Phillips too. So I think that Brubaker and Phillips do a good job of making the monthly comic a decent package. So give us monthly comics guys a little something extra that the trade waiters don't get. So we don't feel so ripped off when they come out with a trade with extra stuff in it for cheaper than we paid for the comic. But either way, Killer Be Killed, excellent comic. And here is one I pulled off the shelf today, The Prisoner #1. I actually bought a licensed comic. I don't know the last licensed comic I bought because I generally am not a fan of them. But one of the reasons I bought this was it's Titan Comics, and who usually does licensed ones is like IDW and maybe Dynamite, and I haven't been a fan of their stuff. And I like Peter Milligan's writing. He did that Valiant book that I still can't remember the name of. And I liked the artwork. So I figured I'd give it a try. And I actually put it on my pull list just because I liked the artwork so much. So I figured I'll give it a try for a few issues automatically. And another thing I liked about it, being that it's not a Dynamite comic or an IDW comic, it gives you a comic all the way to the end. Rather than... and I don't think there's too many. There's a couple of ads in it, but I find it. But it feels like a 32-page comic. But one of the things that annoys me about like IDW and Dynamite is they give you 40-page comics with 22 pages of comics in it and 18 pages of ads. So it's kind of like, oh, that's annoying. Even if they stick all the ads at the end, but still, it's like you get just barely past the halfway point in the comic, and it ends. I don't need half my comic to be ad. That's too much shelf space for ads. But it's a Mike Allred cover, too, by the way. I got the black and white version for no reason, except, I don't know. I picked the black and white version. What's on the back? An ad for the Prisoner full cast audio drama, based on the classic 1967 ITV series. I actually never saw The Prisoner until about 2005, and I liked it then. But everybody else I knew had already watched The Prisoner years ago, and I had for some reason never seen it. Matter of fact, DC Comics, I think in the late 80s, did a Prisoner 4-issue comic book that I bought back in the late 80s, and all I remember was it was really confusing because I had never seen the TV show. I reread it a few years ago, and it was a lot less confusing. But I can't wait to give this a read. Imagine that. I'm getting a licensed comic book. And now we'll give you a little look at my background art. I may have shown these as ink drawings. Now they've got marker color in them. And it looks like I went very pastelish with these two. I usually use brighter colors, but these are not. These are much more subdued. We got Dreams of Things 53 and 54. One is a figure with geometric shapes behind her, and one is a face that is geometric shapes. And some kind of crazy textured sweater staring at you, wanting to get into your dreams. So there you go. Couple of my surreal, dreamlike comic book covers. Wow, I got 54 done of those in that series. That's a lot. I'll have to collect them all together one day. All right, you guys have a good week out there.